Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the December meeting of the Kosciuszko County Area Plan Commission. We'll open our meeting with the approval of the minutes from our last meeting. Have a motion to approve?
Second.
Second. Any discussion on the minutes? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Our procedure is that each case will be introduced by our plan director, Matt Sandy. If it's your case, as he's doing that, please come to the podium, be prepared to give us whatever information you'd like us to have. When you finish that, then we'll see if anyone else wants to speak to your case, either in support or in opposition. And after we've taken that information, we may have questions for you. We would ask that you give your name, first of all, so that we have that for the record, and then give us your information. With that, Matt, turn it over to you.
All right. And first, just a little housekeeping. If you do have a cell phone, we do ask you to turn down or off just so it doesn't distract during the meeting. With that, though, we can pick up. We actually do have one final plat, and that is for Lester and Linda Chubb. And you'll remember we saw the preliminary plat last month. We're up on 500 West, and this was a one-lot Ag 2 subdivision. You're right up there. That was the main parcel. If you remember right, Chubbs wanted to sell off some ground to adjacent owners. Because of that, it was going to reduce their tract under 20 acres. They're going to have a 9.96 acre tract remaining, which would have been a fourth split under 20, triggering the subdivision. They rezoned Ag 2, came in with the preliminary plat, and as part of the preliminary plat, rather than show 2 additional lots that would go to adjoining owners, that was just committed to, and I think that made more sense, so we didn't have easements and whatnot showing up on there. Ultimately, though, we've got the one lot 9.96 Ag 2 subdivision being presented as it was presented through the preliminary plat, so no changes, meets all the requirements at this point.
Steve Snyder on behalf of the petitioner. Per Matt, we haven't had any changes from the preliminary plat. That's a simple one lot subdivision to allow sale off of the adjacent properties to adjacent property owners and retain the house and outbuilding where they are.
Questions? Okay, thank you. We need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that motion. A motion to approve is presented, seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved.
All right, get that signed, and if you want today, or did you want to take that with you today, or? Okay. Okay. All right. We're working on signing that. So while we're signing that, I'll go ahead and read the next case in. We can move on to our new business. And the first case we have is zoning 2025-26 from Marleya Vasquez, and this petition to rezone 8 acres from Ag to Ag 2. Property's located on the east side of 400 West and 0 feet east of 0 feet south of County Road 400 North in Prairie Township. Shannon's got the property pulled up right there in question, and that tract of ground you can see it outlined in blue right there on the southeast corner of 400 and 400. And what they are asking to do is rezone that from ag to ag 2 with the intention of coming in for division. If you look at the area, surrounding area, unshaded is ag. You've got to the northwest, you've got NIPSCO substation, which is zone high pressure gas line. That's actually zoned public use, but aside from that, ag is predominantly in that area until you get out a little further. For this hearing, legal ad was properly appeared in the newspaper and by affidavit surrounding owners were notified. For this hearing, as well as the other ones today, you will note that we do have, you've got your technical committee comments where each member of the technical committee did review these and had comments on them, as well as the Lisa score for each of the rezonings. So with that, they're good to go.
Hi, I'm Mariela Vasquez. I am the petitioner. I'm looking to rezone it. Right now it's 8 acres and I'm looking to get 2 separated. And I would like to build a house potentially on there if possible. Yeah, that's what I'm looking to do.
Any questions here?
Yes, have you been in contact with our health department because of the soil conditions? Another home is going to be a little,
Mhm.
you got to have more details to where you're going to place your home. Have you talked to anybody from the health department or?
Not recently. We've kind of been working through this process for a couple of months, but we have not gotten soil samples yet, which we were, that was one of the things that they let us know that we would likely have to do. So moving forward, if, we need to do that, we're open to it. The only time there's been a soil sample in the past is when my parents built on their side of the property.
Also, I'd like to add, make sure that you're aware that that dotted blue line across the property is a drainage tile.
Mm-hmm.
And that's out in that open space. So
Yes.
we have to stay as far away from that as possible, but I'd be willing, I'm the county surveyor,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm willing to work with you on that, so.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. I think they've told us it has to be like 75 feet at least minimum away from
Yes.
it, which we think is more than
Yes, that's right.
doable. Yeah.
And there's one along 400 also, a drain,
Yes.
county
Yeah.
drain, so work with the highway department also.
Okay.
And I think that was what some of the comments you're seeing in your technical committee, because obviously Neil's concern was once septics can't go into either of those 75-foot easements of that, there's also a large swath of wetlands that does go through it. So Neil was you can see what his comments were. When he sees those, he doesn't want to see a property set up for failure, essentially is what that gets at. And concern that maybe the best spot for the house may also unfortunately be the best spot for a septic. So
is your intent to just have one more home on this?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And so drainage wise, or from the drains, we need to stay 75 feet away from the drain that runs right down the middle, the blue dots, right?
75 feet on either side of that blue line.
Okay.
and the one that runs northeast west along the road.
Okay. And dimension wise, would you mind putting like a measurement from the blue dotted line, what 75 feet looks like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Run that up parallel then, yeah.
Yeah.
Just,
With the blue line or blue?
yeah, with the blue line, I'm sorry.
Not parallel.
Little, she's driving. We all get nervous when someone's watching us driving.
How about driveways, Jim? If they're within 75 feet of your drain, that's
The
not,
driveway is not going to be an issue. The depth of the tile is deep enough that a drive's not going to bother it. but I will be concerned if there's anything more.
If you have maintenance to do on that drain though,
Well, drainage codes still cover that, even if we reduce whatever we approve, drainage codes will still apply. If there's a breakdown or something, I'll still have to fix it.
Then the setback from the side property
Would be 20 foot.
would be 20. So that would show her the area available.
Gives you a rough idea. That small box in there. And there is some wetland. They'll have to have that delineate. If this would move forward, that would need to be delineated as well. Because that does reach up into that pocket as well.
And is the wetlands over on, by the current house in that shaded
Yeah,
area?
that's the
Yeah.
wetland in the purple
Okay.
shaded
Yep.
area.
Yep. And that one has changed since they built the house. So one of the things that there's two wetlands maps that we can reference. So the more up-to-date one does show that one. Obviously, the house got taken out of the wetlands.
Mhm.
I'm confused with the red lines on the right-hand side of the parallel red line. Parallel
Yeah.
to the pipe.
The one that says 231 is where she was going straight. She took it straight. Actually, the 297 is the one that's a 75-foot roughly all.
So isn't the one that's 231 irrelevant?
Yes, she just didn't, if she erased that one, Larry, they're all gonna go away.
Oh,
She didn't want to get rid of all of them for you.
let's start over.
well, just so I understand what area that is to be considered available to her.
Shannon, kind of showing that area between all those points where that is, if you could. Yeah. So they're right about, see where that 145, yeah. That's about the biggest building area they'll really have. And that could get reduced depending on the
Or
wetlands.
unless you go south of there.
It's swampy.
Does it?
Yeah.
Survey.
That's all muck ground down there.
How far off that
Just
400
have all that approved.
does it need to be?
75.
Setback.
Because there is a drain, there's a drain that runs parallel to 400.
She can raise onions.
So it is limited.
Onions do good, but.
So how do we know to make a judgment on approving something to be built if it can't?
So there's two minds there. One is, is it so limiting from what we're seeing here that that's not the highest best use? Or no, Ag 2 is the highest best use, and I'm gonna say it in the terms of buyer beware. Just because it gets zoned Ag 2 doesn't mean that they will be able to get the house they want on that property in the area they want.
Well, that's what I was gonna, what are the repercussions if we go ahead and zone it if they can't?
Yeah, if they can't get it,
do anything?
then they won't be able to build. I mean, it comes back to that. They'd have, if it gets rezoned to Ag 2, then it's a tract that, may be able to be divided, but they may not be able to. Most likely you could build something. Just what you build is what the limiting factors could be.
And I agree with Matt on that. Yeah, there's enough area that something probably could be built. A lot of questions to be answered yet. So I'm not opposed to this rezoning.
Okay. Answered my question.
Do you sort of understand what we're doing, like with the measurement, the red line, so we can understand and therefore you can understand?
Yeah, we've come in a couple of times, so we kind of had a general idea of
Okay.
where it needed to be. But we didn't know, like, if we had to go the route of soil samples first and then do this, like, we didn't know the next steps. So we're open to either option, whether we need to, do a couple steps first before it gets rezoned. Or if, like you guys said, the buyer beware, But yeah, I understand why.
That's the key from my perspective, is that you know and understand the potentials
Yeah,
And they may not be in your favor, but you understand that.
yeah, definitely.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank
Maybe
you.
did anyone here want to speak in support? Anyone in opposition?
Nothing on
All
file.
right. It's your pleasure.
I move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve as presented. Seconded. Any discussion?
Second.
Got a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's carried.
All right, so this will go to the commissioners December 16th. December 16th, this room, 9 o'clock in the morning, commissioners will take that recommendation under a favorable recommendation under consideration. And then if it's rezoned, then you look at moving forward with the next steps and we can talk about those. All right? All right. Next case we can take up is Z 2025-27 for Robinson Construction. And this petition to rezone ground from an ag district to an to an I2 district. Property is located on the south side of 250 north and 0 feet west of 100 east in Plain Township. Shannon's got the tract up, kinda. Go ahead and just show the shot. That shows it a little clearer. And zoom out a little bit. That'll give you a good perspective exactly where we're at. In this case, we are on the southwest corner, 100 and 250. Just to the north would be the airport. Going south, you've got Arnold Industrial, not Arnold, I'm sorry, wrong town. We've got the industrial park to the south. You've got Zimmer Biomet to the west, ag off to the east, just outside the corporate limits. Corporate limits of Warsaw actually encompass this around here. This piece is in the county, however, so any decisions will go to the county commissioners at this point. So what they're looking at doing is rezoning that entire tract from ag to industrial 2. And let me show you, Shannon, could you turn on the zoning for me too, please? Zoning? Yeah. I'll show you the map here for you. Give me a little bit. So looking at the zoning, anything that's going to be shaded in blue is industrial 2. Anything in brown dots, and that will show up hopefully eventually, no worries. No worries. Will be the city of Warsaw. She'll work on getting that up while we move ahead. But for this hearing, legal ad did, there we go. Blue, industrial existing, brown is the city of Warsaw. That's their own zoning district because they don't participate with us. Unshaded to the east is agricultural. For this hearing, legal ad did properly appear in the newspaper and by affidavit surrounding owners of North. You're on.
I'm Brandon Robinson with Robinson Construction, and it's our intention to develop some sort of commercial building on this property at some point in time. It very likely could be our shop, which is currently located on 200 North, and relocating it up here. If that doesn't work out, then we may put another building of some sort on there for commercial manufacturing use.
Any questions?
So you don't have any plans right now as far as where things would be or anything?
No.
A lot of what we talked about in tech committee was the traffic on and off of 100. So in the tech committee, we would prefer that anything go to 250 and not on to 100. I mean, that's why I was asking if you had.
If it's just our shop, then we would definitely prefer to have our drive go off 250 anyway, so.
Sure.
Yeah, technical review says as far west from the intersection as possible. So that's pretty much what you're thinking as well. Okay. Thanks, Brandon.
Pat, with your crystal ball.
Yes.
And seeing as far as where Warsaw's limits are, will this encourage the city to?
Yeah, I think a lot of the discussion or what will happen is a lot of it depends on the development too. Obviously, any major development there is going to probably need sewer. Sewer would be a city of Warsaw item, and at that point, typically the town doesn't want to give sewer unless you're willing to come in at that point. Obviously, looking around it, the other parts that have been taken in have been voluntary. They've taken them in because they have got that sewer, that water. I can see this. The parts that aren't in have surprised me. They haven't gone in, and I think that's a lot because it wasn't voluntary at that point. If and when that trigger for sewer comes in, I think that's going to be a major player. A lot of it's going to depend on what they are going to want to do and how much of the property they want to utilize. I know we did notify the city of Warsaw as a courtesy, just because they are on our doorstep. A corporate line is just a line. We still work together with that part. They didn't have any direct comments other than we'll work with whoever comes in. So
I'd like to add, I'm Dan Robinson. When that property first went up for sale about 2 years ago, I can't speak to exactly what the city intends to do, but Jeremy Skinner asked us to buy that property if we could. At that time, we weren't in position to. Circumstances have somewhat changed, and Jeremy was still wanting us to buy it if we can. So I think that the city would be favorable towards an I-2. Just
from a compatibility standpoint, definitely makes sense.
That's what we're after, I think, from my perspective.
Any other questions for Brandon? Okay, thank you, Brandon.
Thank you.
Anyone in support wants to speak? Anyone in opposition?
Not on file.
All right. It's your pleasure here.
I'll make a motion that we approve as presented.
We have two motions simultaneously
Oh.
to approve.
Do I hear a second?
You can make mine a
I'll
second.
make it 3.
Okay.
Trifecta.
Motion and a second.
Yeah.
Any
There you go.
discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's approved.
All right, guys, just like the one before, this will go to the commissioners right here, December 16th, 9 o'clock, and we'll be passing on a favorable recommendation to rezone.
You're welcome.
Okay, the last thing we have for you is a vacation, and this is a recommendation to the county commissioners on whether or not to vacate. And this one's a little unique in the sense that this is, a lot of times we're looking at roads when it comes to vacations. This one's actually an easement. Under state statute, it does allow for easements to be considered by the county commissioners for vacation of easement. Statute's actually ambiguous because it gives us both that power. But in this case, they're going the route of going to the commissioners rather than do a replat. We're out in Melody Acres, and that is just one of the properties involved. If you look at, blow it out between Walnut Creek Boulevard and Meadowlark, there is block 9, and going down through the middle of those lots of block 9, there's an 8-foot drainage and utility easement. Now, this plat was laid out back in the 50s, and at that time, they indicated that was to be used for utilities and drainage. How that's actually developed out there, the drainage has not been utilized in that easement. Drainage is all taken care of through the roads and then runs eventually out to Tippy River. So if it goes off to the east and down to the Tippy. There is a utility in there of NIPSCO. However, NIPSCO takes their stance that they don't care if it's there or not. They'll do what they want, where they want. It's just, that's the way NIPSCO works. So,
Sounds like it's good.
yeah, so basically, whether the easements exist, they still retain theirs. With that, they are looking at vacating that 8-foot easement. Property lines won't change, but that easement will disappear. Part of what spurred this was some violations that had occurred over the years, came up, and as a way to try to look at resolving some of that and allow for some movement forward through this vacation, that would alleviate those issues in this block. So,
I see a minimum of 6 just in that.
yeah. All that being said, this is not a public hearing that we notify for, so, but they have done their notifications and we're good to go.
So we have somebody here.
Good afternoon. My name's Cameron Plew. I'm on behalf of the petitioner, Janet Callahan. She's my grandmother. She's 87 years old. She's lived in that house for 50 years plus. She's probably one of the longest residents of Melody Acres. When they moved in, most of the homes were not around them. But this has been an ongoing issue for the residents of those streets for 3+ years, at least in my involvement. I've had multiple discussions with Mr. Sandy, Mr. Conley, Mr. Brad Jackson, all have been very helpful, but basically said that this easement has been here since 1959. Nobody's recognized this easement in the subdivision. There's fences on nearly every home. That pool and the fence that you can barely see on my grandmother's property has been there since 1982. Her fence got blown over in a storm. We requested to replace it. We were initially denied because of the easement. So were multiple other people in the neighborhood. So the recommendation between Mr. Conley and Mr. Sandy was, we go the route of vacating the easement for this entire street, because nearly everybody on that street has been in non-compliance for 50 years if they've had a fence. Most had fences because it's flat. So as far as the drainage, if you've ever been out there, which many of you have, it's flat. There is no drainage. There's no ditch. There's no drain tile. The utility easement, there is utilities that run behind those homes, but there's zero access for any utility truck to go through there. Even if there wasn't fences, as you know, no NIPSCO truck can fit in an 8-foot wide easement. So thus the comments from Mr. Sandy that the utilities companies have no concern because they don't use this easement. So it was recommended that I take up this case for the residents out there, which I am doing, and trying to help my grandmother, because this has created a lot of stress on those residents. I know her neighbor to the west has had a lot of concern over this. We've had letters, you guys have had meetings over this, and we're just trying to get it cleaned up for the next guy after my grandmother, and for the residents out there. We're just trying to get it cleaned up because it's been an ongoing issue. So happy to answer any questions though.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone in support wishes to speak? Anyone in opposition?
Nothing on file.
Okay. Anyone handless?
Motion to vacate.
Seconded. We have a motion to vacate as requested. Seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, like our 2 rezonings, this recommendation will be taken to commissioners on December 16th with a favorable recommendation to vacate. And that will Bob being one of the 3 that will look at it. So, that is all the regular business we have. Just give you a little update so you know kind of where we're at and what we've been working on. We have been, we talked about AFOs at one meeting in the past. We have had our committee kind of get together. We've had a rough draft.
Want to explain?
Yes, sorry. AFO, animal feed operation. And that's, if you remember right, we had a group of gentlemen come who had some concerns about those feed operations that don't get classified as confined feeding operations. There's thresholds in the state with numbers. They had some concerns about how that is impacting our area and some of our other operations. They asked us to take a look at it. So we did form a committee to take a look at it. We've had a chance to kind of meet once, get something around, and that's in discussions. What we're looking at doing, we'll be bringing that to you as an advertised amendment sometime in the future. So I think that discussion went real well, and it's moving. Let's put it that way. Along with that, we, as you know, before we got a middle gap in there. We start looking at some ordinance amendments. We're going to start bringing those back up after the first of the year. Good part is after the first of the year, kind of quieter, hopefully, and we'll have a little bit more time to discuss those and how that looks, and then look at bringing that to you at a future time. But that's kind of what we've been working along, just getting Shannon settled in. She's doing great. So, but other than that, Merry Christmas.
I don't know if we have these people here. Anybody want to speak to anything?
Just neighbors in the neighborhood.
Okay. All right, then motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion to adjourn's been seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.